Hey guys, spinal's here. This is my first video guide, so please bear with me. If you have any concerns or if I make any mistakes or you see anything to build upon, please write in the comment box below. This tutorial will be for the hybrid Force Master build that I recently came across. Before people freak out, this build is meant for highly geared Force Masters at Hongmoon 4/5 with a pretty deep understanding of the class. Um, you're looking to be at least 50% crit to make this build viable, but 55 plus is ideally what I would recommend for the best experience with this build. Um, Before I start, I'd like to thank my friend X Suicide for bringing this build to life for me. He picked it up from watching some of the top Eastern PvEers play the game, and explain the rotation to him, which he then explained to me. Um, Also, this build is still obviously a work in progress, so um, yeah. Okay, so getting started, we're going to look at the current burn build, the normal burn build. Um, this is normally what you're looking at for Hongmoon 4. These are the extra 2 points you get for Hongmoon 5 that can pretty much go anywhere you want at this point. Well, we don't care about that. So going into the hybrid build, what we're changing is getting rid of Fire Fury because we don't have to cast that at all. These 3 points are going to be put into Meteor Shower, Blaze Beam, and Exploding Palm. The general premise and difference with this build is you're trying to get as many Ember stacks as possible, as fast as possible, while exploding them. A lot of people have a gripe with this, like, oh my god, you're ruining my burn build, blah 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 blah. I'll go through that a little bit later. But that's the general base changes. Once you hit Hongmoon 5 or even Hongmoon 4, the other changes would be putting 2 points into Wildfire to extend your burns when necessary. Those points, if you're Hongmoon 4, can come out of Divine Veil and Frost Armor. So that's the base changes. Again, we're looking at maximizing the amount of Ember stacks to get the maximum amount of explosions using Blazing Palm. The reason why we don't have to cast Fire Fury is because of the Flame Orbit upon critical hit, which is why I recommend having 50 to 55 plus percent crit to make this optimal. So now with the pros and cons, I kind of touched on it already, but one of the first pros and why I like this build a lot more than the normal burn build is not having to care about the increases flame buff ever at all. So this buff is always going to be up because you are casting Dragon Blaze as often as possible every time it's up, which you don't do in the normal burn build. You end up casting it just to keep the buff up, which ends up being really awkward, and the timings could be really awkward, and then having to cast Fire Fury ends up being a DPS loss or non-premium damage. So this makes for more premium damage uptime while also supplementing the loss of using Fire Fury with Exploding Palm. The second pro would be lots of meteors. So casting Fire or Dragon Blaze as often as possible allows for meteor cooldown to come up faster, which also allows for a lot more Ember stacks because of the 3 points in Meteor Shower now. The only cons that I can see with this build is you're going to be using Exploding Palm because it is a DPS increase. You're trying to get the most DPS out of it, and it isn't even really a con because you will be keeping up burn 100% of the time. So a lot of FMs will come at you and attack you and call you trash or hate on you because you're quote-unquote fucking up their burn. When an FM comes up to you and says this, you can negotiate with them and just say, you go through your rotation Fire C first, and then I'll Fire C after, which means we have 20 seconds of consistent burn. I'll hold off on casting my X, etc. So you can constantly keep burn up without actually having to have 5 stacks and 1. But there's also the ability to cast Dragon Blaze or Twin Dragons to keep burn up as well. If I'll get a crit here. LOL. So that Dragon Blaze or Twin Dragons gives you 5 Ember stacks, and then pressing 1 will allow you to burn. So that's the end of the line way to get a burn with this build. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over some extras. The first one being this build usually works best solo or with another burn build FM in your party. Having a extra hybrid or more hybrid FMs usually means less explosions for yourself, therefore less damage. If you do end up having another FM in your party, letting them know the situation and telling them that you'll be staggering your Fire C or X so that you can have optimal burn time allows for both of you to have to press impact a lot less often, which opens up the ability to have premium damage uptime, which is your animation cancel plus 2, so left click, right click, and 2. Okay, so we're gonna go through the rotation now. It's pretty simple. The only general difference between this rotation and the normal build rotation is the only time you're casting Force Blast is following Dragon Blaze or Dual Dragons at the end of your burn cooldowns. So starting off, you're going to be using left mouse button, Blazing Palm, into Short Fuse, into Meteor Shower. Once that's casted, you go into doing your animation cancel plus 2, which is your premium damage. Once your short fuse burn is down to about 2-3 seconds, you'll be using a wildfire to extend it for 4 seconds. Once the wildfire extension is about to end, that's when you're casting your first Inferno. While all this is happening, you are using Blaze Beam, left mouse button and right mouse button animation cancel, and Dragon Blaze every time it's up. It might come up early, it might not come up at all. It's completely random based on if you get lucky with your crits or not. If you get lucky crits, you'll be able to cast it early. If not, sometimes your Twin Dragons will be the one that comes up rather than Dragon Blaze. So you'll be casting F every time it's up, regardless of what it is, Dragon Blaze or Twin Dragons. Once your cooldowns are done, that's when you'll be casting your first Force Blast, which will be a Dragon's Blaze into Force Blast to then bring up your burn again. While this is happening, you're still doing your animation cancel and Blaze Beam. By the time this first Force Blast burn is done, your short fuse should be up, and then you just recycle. So I'll show you an example of what it looks like. And that's the rotation. That's pretty much everything, so thank you for watching the hybrid Force Master build guide. My name is spinaLz. You can catch me at twitch.tv/spinaLz. I'd like to thank X Suicide for the information and teaching me the rotation. There will also be a text guide posted on Reddit and probably BNS Dojo, so you'll be able to read it there if I'm terrible at speaking and you don't understand what I'm saying. Other than that, yep. See you around. Bye bye.